Welcome to Rutherford, North Carolina. And as we said, this is the first ever game broadcast from Rutherford County. Both these teams want to be on the winning side of it. Kenny, you've walked through keys, you've walked through players. Now it's time to kick the football off. Moment of truth is right around the corner.
And these kids have been waiting for this all week. Both schools had pep rallies today.
All week, all year.
Yeah, all year. You got a point there. And it just this feeling and getting around and seeing their eyes. You can see they want to get this going now. They're tired of waiting.
Winning the toss, the homestanding Hilltoppers of RS Central deferred. Or excuse me, East Rutherford deferred. RS Central will get the football, as you can see, by the fact that Roderick is working his way toward the football. And as he puts a foot into it, that gets us underway. So here are the homestanding Hilltoppers with a return from the 1-yard line out across the 10 to the 15. And then swallowed up at the 17-yard line. That is where the team wearing the home blues will take over. 2 and 4, RS Central battling it out with 4 and 2, East Rutherford. And we'll see first defensively out of those two players we highlighted, Cade Hamilton. Watch him on the defensive side of the ball, approaching 100 tackles already on the young season. And the gentleman leading out these RS Central Hilltoppers is Hunter Bradley. Yes, he is getting the nod tonight because of Jaden Waddell's suspension, but this is not new territory for Bradley. As you heard Coach say in the pregame, he has quarterbacked off and on since his 7th grade season. Tonight, the senior in a big spot being called upon to step up, and they'll give the football off immediately to DeMarcus Johnson. He gets a handful. Here's the rest of the starting lineup brought to you by Bojangles.
Well, Little John's going to be a big key as far as that, but Ty J. Cook's out there at the receiver. Look at him. He's 6'5", and from what I understand, and John's been around some of these guys on the basketball court. He can jump out of this world, so they're going to throw it up to him at times.
And here comes the second down play. 2nd and 5. Ball on the ground, but it's handled nicely by Bradley, and he'll turn something positive out of what looked like a difficult start to the play. In fact, he'll move the chains. Let's take a look at the defensive alignment surrounding Cade Hamilton for the East Rutherford Cavaliers. Here they are. 3-4 is their base defense, but we may see some wrinkles tonight, Kenny.
He's got some people in front of him that's going to keep them off of him. And we're talking about number 68, Taiwan Hill, 6'6", 360. Yeah.
Oh, Kenny loves the numbers on several of these linemen, as we'll get into before the night is done. And swallowed up back around the 21-yard line as a ball carrier. No space whatsoever for DeMarcus Johnson. Twice they go to Johnson already on this drive. Once it's a very positive result. This time around he loses around 5 yards. Take another look at how they seal this off. And correction, and that's Torvin in there that gets the handoff there, Kenny. So we're seeing a number of different weapons early for RS Central.
And that's what happens. This is like a gun, but it's a version still of a wing tee. Yeah, I think you see Mountain Heritage. It does a real, probably the best job around. But it's still a version of the wing tee.
Little John went the other way, and the first toss in the direction of Cooks will result in a catch at the 24. And that gets about halfway back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd down. And about 13 coming.
I liked about that. You look, they threw it out there to him real quick, out to Ty J. 9 red helmets was over there by the time it got down.
Did I hear the head coach of the Cavaliers from East Rutherford correctly? He said this defense has talked this week about trying not only to win the football game, but to pitch a shutout. They're serious about the way they're approaching this game tonight.
I know Brent, the defense coordinator. I coached him at Owen. And you're going to see him shift. Once they call him off, you'll see him shift to a 4-man front sometimes to confuse everybody.
Still in that base 3-man front right now out of that 3-4 that we've seen to this point.
You don't want to show your hand too soon.
No. Wait for the appropriate moment. False start against the Hilltoppers, backing them up.
And you watch when they shift. If that happens, shifts, you'll see RS. Lots of times you'll get the offense to jump, shifting up here. I don't know if this would be the time to do it with being 3rd and long. It'd be more pass defense.
Hunter Bradley and the Hilltoppers way behind the sticks, and now Bradley is running for his life, and he'll be swallowed up inside the 20. So 4th down, and the first defensive stand for the Cavaliers goes according to plan.
They send the inside linebacker there with that three-man front. It causes a little confusion on the offensive line. And you can't, the 3-2 front, somebody's got to be coming most of the time. You don't know which one, it's 3-4. So there's a linebacker coming from somewhere.
So the first defensive volley, and what we're talking about a back-and-forth defensive affair perhaps tonight, belongs to the visitors from across the way at East Rutherford. And now a chance to return will quickly turn south. What a bounce for RS Central, and it goes inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. It will turn into an outstanding punt for Tripper Reynolds. The senior punter watched as it bounced his direction and ended up pinning the Cavaliers inside the 30-yard line. That was quite a hop there, Kenny.
I watched him before in pregame. I bet he punted 100 balls. Yeah, I thought he was going to wear himself out. But when you heard me go,
you got to do it to get that right landing.
Yeah,
there.
but you know, that's what I've always said. Just catch the football. You don't have to return it. You'll save your team 15, 20 valuable yards like right there.
Coach's nightmare to see one like that let go. And immediately you are introduced to Mr. Mooney, Demetrius Mooney, indicated by both coaches as the player to watch. He's talking about how important it is to get him going, and here are the rest of the group they'll use surrounding Mooney, including the quarterback Simmons.
He's gonna be the leading rusher. Also, besides Mooney, he's gonna make some things happen. But Mooney's the man they need to stop. 6'1", 210.
81 carries, 769 yards, and 10 touchdowns for Demetrius Mooney, and he plays both ways. He'll also be out there on the defensive side of the ball. When you have the type of athletic ability that Demetrius Mooney does, you're going to be out there as often as your coaches can get you on the field.
Yeah, you want your best athletes on the field as many times as possible. Find a chance to rest them when you can. You'll find people like Cade Hamilton there, 44. He doesn't want out of the game, not one play.
Rushing to the far side, and with some space is Calvin Jones. Jones, a sophomore, 5'9", 160. And you talk about athletes and using them wherever you can. Look at how he's listed on the roster. Quarterback, running back, defensive back. He'll do it all for this team.
He's a glider right there. He's just taking those steps and just running past people.
Now working our way under 8 minutes to play first period. First touch offensively for the Cavaliers of East Rutherford, under the direction of Clint Bland, going head-to-head with first-year head coach Brad Hutchins here at RS Central. And the battle takes place in the trenches here. A couple of yards gained and a flag coming in. As you see, among others, rolling out of there for RS Central is Chase Harris, an outside linebacker. And our referee not mic'd up tonight, but
that's good.
You'll see the calls as they come over. The FaceTime's there nonetheless, and this call is going to go against RS Central and marches East Rutherford just a little closer. Of course, always our crew gives the officials and the schools the opportunity to have that luxury, have that chance. And tonight, the referee's not doing that. So we will not lay out for calls, but we will give you the calls along the way, and you'll see them on your screen as the crew does a nice job passing those along to you. Audio when available when necessary, and everything else as provided. Here's another first down. And then swallowed up at the 35-yard line. That's all you're going to end up seeing gain there. As third and long coming. Here is the defensive alignment for RS Central, Kenny. We talked about Johnson in the middle. And who else do you highlight besides DeMarcus Johnson, who will be wearing number 14 tonight in the middle of that defense?
Yeah, he's going to have the same thing with folks in front of him that's going to keep him off of him. Liam Harris, a lot of people, not quite as big as East Rutherford, though. They've got one, Jarvis Lynch, 73, go both ways. He's at 6'3", 380, so they got their men, too.
After the Westridge Auto Sales first down, a loss bringing up second, and they're going to call it 14. And this gets back near the original line of scrimmage, maybe about a yard shy of the first of the two sticks, which will make it third down and 11 or 12. 6.5 to go, first period. Anything you're noticing in the nature of this one as these teams try to settle in? Ken?
That's what I think it's a good way to put it, Jay. Just try to settle in, and just the underlying thing there, the offensive coordinator for East Rutherford was the head coach here at RS Central for the past 12 years.
And if you think that does not heighten the sense of rivalry between these two teams, certainly the case. Third down, wide open and able to make the catch over near the sticks. Looks like that's enough to move the chains, and it's the first time we call Jordan Harris's names, as he has yet another Westridge Auto Sales first down. East Rutherford was way behind the sticks there, Kenny, and this is a huge third down conversion.
That was a good timing route, a good deep out, and he's throwing across his body there. I mean, he zipped that right there.
Cameron Simmons may rely on Mooney, but he also showed you what he can do with the arm there.
Yeah, he can make some things happen.
Comes first down just outside the red zone. Actually dead on it at the 20-yard line. Stopping and then spinning to his right is Mooney, and he's inside the 5-yard line. Can the Cavaliers, well, and you see a little extracurricular activity. And a flag is going to come in as after Mooney's run, he ended up slamming the defender to the turf, lost his helmet in the process, and that was a great look in there. The camera guys had you right in the middle of this, and here comes some of that high energy that relates to this game that you were talking about in the pregame, Kenny. Watch the loss of the helmet by Mooney. And then once that takes place, when he gets back up, a little shove on the end of this play. There it is. And the flag follows pretty quickly.
Well, I don't know right now if he's still in the ball game or not, but cool heads win close ball games, and you've got to keep those. And he's one of their bell cows, and he's got to keep. Probably, if he keeps his head during situations like that, the rest of the people in red helmets will too.
Well, and
so I hope he's not out of the game.
On the sideline at the moment, and we already are without Jaden Waddell, the normal quarterback for RS Central, because of some team violation, disciplinary type issues. We'll see if anything transpires, just based on your comments there, Kenny, related to Mooney, who is the key player offensively on that side of the ball tonight. Here come flags once again at the 20-yard line on what was a first down following the penalty back outside the red zone.
Cameron's trying to make something get out there. It was the same pattern that they completed earlier. You see a lot of people on third down in close situations. End up going to their sideline. Sometimes I think a little too much. There was face mask on that. I was looking back thinking about his helmet coming off Mooney's. And there must have been something going on down there, because he was laying on the ground at the bottom of the pile, and his helmet got jerked off laying on the ground. So I think there was a lot of stuff going on in there before he pushed off.
And it's just the first quarter. Probably will not be the last of those type moments we see between these two county rivals. Right up the gut and into the end zone. Cameron Simmons, and they're battling for the football in there. The call not quite yet having been made for sure. Everybody walking off the field for East Rutherford signaling touchdown, but Chase Harris was in there battling for the football to the very last moment. They were lying in the end zone, duking it out. There's a flag just inside the end zone.
Simmons was
and
in.
Here comes our call. It is a touchdown. So Simmons will get credit for the score. Then following the score, a personal foul on East Rutherford as well as RS Central. These will offset, and 6 now on the board on the run by Cameron Simmons. Here's another look at it.
Look how hard he wanted. He saw that little gap right there, and he wasn't going to be stopped. Now right here, there's no telling what was being said back and forth as they're rolling around.
Yeah, all we can see is what's being done. What's being said, another story, is you get a good look at the Prestige Subaru touchdown. First of the ball game, and it belongs to Cameron Simmons and the East Rutherford Cavaliers.
I see a little bit of influence from Coach Russell right there. A little bit of Owen in the way we always huddled to the side like that, and made teams have to work on that. Made things just a little bit more interesting.
Austin Roderick's kick is good. One touch of the football offensively. And the drive turns into 7 for the visiting Cavaliers. 4-yard line for a first down. Bradley trying to move through traffic. He will. Gets away from the initial contact, and as a result has the first down. Hunter Bradley stays on his feet and moves the chains.
Yeah, we just discussed that. I think just disappointed they've been there, but they've missed some tackles they shouldn't have. And right there's a good point of it. You know, he's the backup quarterback And they wasn't worried at all. I see why now.
Yeah, Jaden Waddell unable to go tonight. Some team disciplinary issues. They went forward with Hunter Bradley. They talked about how, yes, his senior experience will allow him to step right in. They don't believe they'll miss a beat. He has quarterbacked off and on since his 7th grade year. And seems to have embraced the moment. One of the bigger plays of the night for RS Central belonging to him as he picked up the first down. Here he's swallowed up for a loss, but second down coming. Just waiting our way into second period action. It's a 14-0 lead for visiting East Rutherford. But RS Central driving, looking to make this a one-possession game.
If everybody does their job, just watching the scheme of things right there. The wing back, just the defensive end, turn everything back in to where those lines. There's your 4-man front, just shifting up there just to mess with things a little bit. And that's just enough to change. There it is. See, just keeps the lineman off the linebackers, just walking that other lineman up real quick after the play's been called. And then the lineman is to think quick enough to change his blocking assignment. So now it keep them off the linebackers where they can make plays. They can clean it up.
There's Jameer Gibbs again. Too many white jerseys there for him to break through. And third down is coming again. This is a third down that will test this offense's ability to move the chains. Third down, and they're going to call it 14. And a toss toward the end zone, trying to find their target, Cooks, and it is intercepted. Going to be picked off back there by Jordan Harris, who takes it away for East Rutherford. Kenny, that is a second turnover forced by East Rutherford. They forced a fumble deep inside RS Central territory, and then now come away with the pick in their own end zone with the Hilltoppers trying to score for the first time. Take another look at the leaping ability, the timing, everything you want from Jordan Harris.
So you had to go to your man, Ty J. He hadn't really that fade route. He did not run his route. He just kind of went off the line of scrimmage and started looking for the ball right then. He needed to come off of there, give some move, and try to get past that corner. That corner, all he had to do is just keep backing up and keep Ty J in front of him and then make the play.
Fumble forced by Taiwan Hill earlier in the game. Fumble recovered by Julian Whiteside. And then the interception a moment ago by Jordan Harris. Safe to say this defense for East Rutherford as advertised so far. And now the offense uses it as a bit of a shot in the arm. Taylor Ford first down picked up on the first play of this drive.
I think they would like to right now just nice ground right there. Just take control of the ball. Just pick it up as they go down the field. Notice they're under center now. They were not like that. They were in the gun. So it's just changed it up a little bit.
Boy, what a head of steam.
Wow.
And there will be no one able to catch the ball carrier. Gone for 70 yards, and a touchdown is Calvin Jones, and he's calling for his teammates. A little celebration is in order for Calvin Jones.
That's kind of a funny, it's almost a handoff version of the sweep play, kind of like a stretch play like they do in the pros, where we come off there and then reverse out and take it to him. I've not seen that. That's a kind of a different version of it in high school.
Another look at the Prestige Subaru touchdown run for Calvin Jones. Kenny, the way he hit the line of scrimmage, or went through it, perhaps is a better description, gave you the sense that nobody was stopping Calvin Jones.
They got a trick two-point play here.
Going for the two-point conversion. Jordan Harris around the outside, reaches for the pylon, and he's going to be just short. The same Jordan Harris who came away with the interception in the end zone a moment ago. But that man, well, he's the latest to wow fans here in Rutherford County. Touchdown run of
Bojangles cater your tailgate party while you focus on being the best host in town. Bojangles, it's bow time.
20-0 East Rutherford. They went for the two-point conversion. A little trickery on the conversion try. Did not successfully make it. So it sits at 3 scores and 20-0. RS Central just a moment ago was perhaps going in for a score that would make it 14-6 or 14-7. An interception by Jordan Harris, robbing the home team of an opportunity to make this a tight ball game. And it only took just a couple of plays for the 70-yard Calvin Jones run to lengthen the breathing room right now that is being enjoyed by that sideline. As you look at the East Rutherford coaching staff. We'll take a look back at the drive on the other side of this kickoff by Austin Roderick Jr. stepping things off back around the 30-yard line before he kicks it away.
He's a good kicker.
Well, and he's been busy so far tonight. Roderick with 9 and change remaining in his first half. Will kick it into the end zone. That's a touchback. All right, Kenny, let's go back to the 70-yard touchdown run by Calvin Jones. And you were talking about the way players are scouted at the collegiate level, that when you look for a touchdown, or when you look for speed on a touchdown run like that, it's not so much what it is in relation to other players. It's not so much what it is in relation to what you see visually. Is one other thing that you'll share with fans in just a moment. Here's a scoring drive on that Prestige Subaru touchdown. You saw it there, just a couple of plays, 80 yards total, less than a minute. In fact, just over a half minute in the 70-yard run by Jones. Perhaps we'll get a chance to see that run by Jones here in just a second, and you'll be able to break that down for the fans. It was something special when Jones broke loose. And right back, a couple of yard loss. And let's take a look at that run by Jones one more time and tell fans what they're watching for here, Kenny.
Well, watch his stride between their count. See how many steps it takes in between each 5 yards. So once he opens up here, just count. How many steps? 1, 2, 1, 2, is that half? 1, 2 and a half. If 1, 2, half, something like that. If you can see, if he's really fast, if the college coaches see 2 strides between each 5, they say this one can book. So you see right there, he's like at about a 2 and a half, something like that. But that's the old back in 47, how you could tell on film and stuff like that. But it's still used that way. You can see how many strides and break it down to 1 3/4. And just watch it on Friday or on Sunday night or Saturday or something. And you can watch those guys once they break free. Just that, how many it takes between those 5 yards.
It's a great point you make, because the speed of the defense may vary from one week to the next that you're running against. Certainly the visual that you get, and even the timing of when you start the stopwatch, stop the stopwatch. But the one thing you cannot be fooled by, and that is, where are those strides on those yard lines that are a consistent 5 yards? And safe to say, in the case of Calvin Jones, he was flying.
He was flying. He was booking it. If they're taking more than 3 steps between 5, that's not good for a running back. But
you'll take a touchdown.
He's between 2 and 3 there.
The old bruisers might get you there, and you'll take a touchdown any way you can get it. But when you're talking about a speed player like Calvin Jones, a great point that you make in detailing that. Third down coming for RS Central, and with the Hilltoppers in danger of giving the ball right back to East Rutherford, they're going to take a timeout and talk it over with 7:42 left to play. Feels the same way it did, maybe with even more of a sense of urgency now, Kenny, that RS Central in some ways needs to play a little keep away here, sustain a drive, and now not only sustain a drive, but put some type of points on the board. This third down makes it tough.
It's third, and that's not a good place to be. In the 20, you've got places on the field that you can call some things. They're on 20, 3rd and 12 on your own 20. They've already gone to Ty J. Cook's number 3 one time in a critical situation, and he doesn't look like he ought to be wanting it. He ought to be getting up there. No matter what, you throw it up, and you just can't. He's gonna go get it. So that, he may want it back right now. So we'll just find out.
Well, we've been looking all night for our wildest fans of the game. It appears they've been spotted right up on that railing. Those are our wildest fans of the game. Brought to you by Wild Wing Cafe, locations to serve you both downtown and in South Asheville. Go see them at Wild Wing Cafe, and come see us on Bojangles Thursday Night Lights. Perhaps you can be our wildest fan of the game. We thank the folks at Wild Wing Cafe, one of my favorite places to go and eat from time to time for sure. And we appreciate their sponsorship on nights like this. The folks at Wild Wings sponsoring the wildest fan. Here's the underneath screen set up and read and blown up this time around by who else but Demetrius Mooney. He's there defensively. We mentioned as strong an athlete as he is, he would be on both sides of the ball. Here Mooney makes the stop.
That's a good call, a screen pass here, but Mooney stays in. That's an athletic play right there. He was inside these blockers. This play should have gone farther than it did, but because of Mr. Mooney, yes, sir.
Who was right there with him? Cade Hamilton was waiting for his chance if Mooney didn't make the play on first contact. That's quite a tandem of defenders for East Rutherford, the play after the timeout goes backwards, and RS Central's punter does a nice job just to pick it up off the turf, but then it's deflected and blocked. Ball is loose. It scrambles around to the 3. Going to be picked up and carried in for a touchdown. Well, a little bit of pinball action after the punt, and it ends up being Michael Mull, the senior, who ends up scoring the touchdown. The latest of the touchdowns, the first defensive touchdown for East Rutherford.
I was watching the punter. He was kicking. Yes, he kicked 100 times, but watch how many steps he takes.
That was a bad snap. He did a nice job to pick it up, Kenny, initially, but by that time it was too late.
There's a lot going on right there. It was touched 2 or 3 times, and I think somewhere, of course, it never crossed the line of scrimmage. So you would, even if it crossed the line of scrimmage and it's touched by the other team, back and forth, some things that happen. But there was a lot of people going after that thing. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, a wild one. It may end up being a special teams play of the game before this one's done. And now the rush to the far side on the 2-point conversion, which is anything but what was on the drawing board for East Rutherford. But it's only been on the conversion plays that East Rutherford has had any problems whatsoever. Here's another look at the punt. You saw the low snap, and then by the time it was gathered back up, too many white jerseys in there. And when all is said and done, Michael Mull on it for a touchdown.
We just go above and beyond. That's what you have to do now.
The visiting Cavaliers unable to convert on the extra point. Things not quite going their way on a 2-point try earlier, and here the extra point a bit botched. But Kenny, that's really the only 2 things tonight that have not gone the way of the Cavaliers so far. Their defense is forcing turnovers consistently. In the special teams department, they just came away with a punt block that resulted in a touchdown. And offensively, we've seen touchdowns by the trio already of Simmons, Mooney, and Jones. This is going according to plan right now for Clint Bland and company.
Yeah, he said he felt like they had a really good scheme on that side of the football, and it's showing up right now. You can also feel East Rutherford gaining some momentum with all that. RS has got to answer here. So, like, I keep going back with Ty J. Cooks, but like the screen pass, not only did they drop the outside linebacker out there, they hotted him. What I mean hot is he gets in his face, and he jams him coming off, and then the corner can pick him up. Just completely take him away. But they try to take a screen pass and go the other way, though.
Return across the 15 and a little bit of room to the 20-yard line. That is where the Hilltoppers will take over. Let's take a look at what defensively the Cavaliers have been able to do so far, Kenny.
First thing is they cannot block that big man, number 68. And if they put 2 people on him, they need to let somebody through.
Then you saw the interception back there by Jordan Harris, and here is the blocked punt that was picked up and carried into the end zone for the most recent touchdown. Again, that was Michael Mull, the senior, who was able to get in there on it. And now RS Central, to their credit, they bounce back each and every time. Been able to do some positive things, none of it resulting in points so far. And this is a team looking to get something going at the 6:42 mark of the first half. And Bradley keeps it up the middle.
He was the man making some yards earlier. And the worst thing they could do is start probably trying to fling it up there to Ty J. But
well, you remember Bradley converting the long 3rd down earlier. Not only that, they were going in to score, were the Hilltoppers, when the interception was made by Jordan Harris in the end zone. So, and at that time, that was going to make it a 14-7 game. Then things have begun to snowball, compounded a little bit. They find themselves down 26-0. But this one far from over, although you feel like this is a critical late second half drive, like late second period drive, I should say, for the home team.
If they keep dragging number 12 out there, Julian Whiteside to Ty J's side, there's got to be an opening in a gap somewhere to that side, and they found it earlier.
More white jerseys there to arrive on the scene quickly. The combo of Cade Hamilton and Jordan Harris as we get to call the name of John Torvinen once more.
And this time even more, number 12, you see, let's go into the side of Ty J. There he goes again, now the wide side. Let's see if they bring him all the way out to him. There he goes. There he goes. He's going to hot him. He's going to look. They're going to cover him up. He said he's not going to beat us. He better go somewhere else.
Cook's an outstanding player, getting the attention he deserves, and on the reverse, it is dropped, picked up, and carried in for a touchdown, the latest of which belongs to Jalik Correas, the sophomore, able to pick it up and carry it in. And Kenny, a little trickery tried there by RS Central. The Hilltoppers just looking to get anything possible going here, and the ball refuses to bounce their way. Instead, it bounces right up into the hands of Correas, who takes it back for a touchdown. Take another look at the Prestige Subaru TD. There it was. And enough disruption by, I believe, let's see who it was in there. Correas ends up picking it up, but he had a comrade, I believe that was Michael Hensley, perhaps, who was in there to try and disrupt as well. Whatever the case, big smile on the face of number 21 for the Cavaliers. And the extra point, straight up and through. 32-0 is the East Rutherford lead. And I used the terminology just a little bit ago of this thing snowballing. It did that very quickly, and turnovers have been the culprit in this football game.
Yeah,
it's something that East Rutherford had battled through the first part of this campaign, and they seem to be the beneficiaries of all those turnovers thus far tonight. We remind you that not only tonight, but on all nights, you can have your very own copy of all the footage. Just think in terms of having your very own copy of this, the first televised game in Rutherford County. You can have it by sending $10 to WMYA. Please specify the game you would like to have on our long Thursday Night Lights string of games. And there's the address on your screen, 110 Technology Drive in Asheville. Everybody getting in on the party right now, Kenny, and this thing quickly spiraling out of control.
It is. I'm trying to figure out. I'm getting these flash drives on these games. My problem is I do not know where to put that flash drive.
You don't know what to do with a flash drive.
I have no clue.
Well, I'm not sure.
I'm still putting, reel-to-reel film.
Yeah, I'm not sure we can help you there. We'll see if we can find you a tutor from one of these fine high schools that we're traveling around to week after week. Maybe they can help you out with a computer course or something along those lines where you can see the fine work that these young student athletes are doing each and every week. And there you see a guy who maybe is the busiest guy in the yard right now, Austin Roderick. They kept him out there kicking off time and again.
Yeah, he said he's a good kicker. I was wanting to see him punt. So far, they haven't had to punt. But East Rutherford's like a school of sharks right now. They've tasted some blood, and they're playing stronger and stronger and want more.
This is going to be a penalty as it's kicked out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. RS Central getting ready to take over. We've said it a little bit earlier. It's worth talking about it for a moment right now. We talk about traveling around here and tease about the educational aspects of it for us. But it really is a fun thing to do, especially when you get to come into a place like we've been today. RS Central High School, something special. We've met a lot of the administration, the teachers. They fed us, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was Mi Pueblito where they fed us today. A very nice restaurant here. And what is, as we talked about it in Rutherfordton, a town that dates back to the late 1700s. Just a great environment, a great town, fine folks. And there's the place where our bellies were filled. Hey, I tried. Yeah. Mi Pueblito, I believe, is something similar to what it's supposed to be, although my Spanish is as suspect as every other subject I had in school. We do say thanks to those folks, though, for taking good care of us. We've been well fed, well taken care of here today, and it's a privilege to be here on this campus.
It's beautiful, and it's made the right way. They got plenty of room here. I watched this campus when I coached at McDowell. Went to the old campus where the old school was, but I was getting my master's at Gardner-Webb. I drove by here and watched this place. I'd have to drive there getting it, and I've watched this campus being built, and it's great to be here and finally see what it looks like.
Yeah, Phil Rogers, the principal, all the fine folks in administration, including Sam Hooper, the athletic director, who, among other things, is bringing us drinks and making sure we're taken care of. It's been great to be here tonight. Well, if the fans are going to feel like on the home side right now that it's going to be great to be here tonight, this is a drive that must end in points, and that makes this, Kenny, as we say hello from our broadcast position, and thanks for joining us here on Thursday Night Lights, that makes this a very important third down for the home team.
It does, and I'd like to see them capitalize on it some way.
Wait, what's your...
And met immediately after the handoff at the 40-yard line and swallowed up. No room for the ball carrier. There is the young, talented, we introduced him to you just a few moments ago, ninth grader Jameer Gibbs, who just found no space whatsoever, and fourth down is coming.
You know, watching, I keep going, I keep taking it back, looking down at Ty J. Cooks. He is such an athlete, and I really think they could even try to force it up in there high to him on a slant pattern or something like that, but he's not even coming off the line real hard right now. It's like the red helmets are at a different speed of the blue helmets, that's for sure.
Good job getting this away after the last punt was blocked, and fair caught at the 35-yard line by Jordan Harris. That is where East Rutherford will take over. And if RS Central's to crawl back in this thing, something that has been an issue for East Rutherford along the way, which is turnovers, need to begin being forced as well, Kenny. There's a chance right now for this Central defense to step up in the closing stages of the first half.
They need right before to be able to go in, and East had some problems with some ball handling and stuff, but they haven't had to. They've just picked up the ball when when RS Central drops it or they take it away from it. So they're taking those. They're getting more handoffs from RS than from themselves. So, but RS has got to have a stop right here. If they could do something with it, make a stop, feel good about going in before the half. But I do not think. East has had more success under center, and they're not going to change that now. There's that same touchdown play.
Well, and it's the same gentleman who ended up with the 70-yard scamper, Calvin Jones, but this time he's hemmed up pretty quickly. We'll only get back to the 49-yard line, and more importantly, flags are down at the 40, at the 43, and we've got a little something going on as big 73 is downfield, Jarvis Lynch. And now the official's right there on top of it. Or is that 75? McClooney there. It was happening away from the play, Kenny, and I think you were noticing it about the same time the flags came out. Here's another look.
He was trying to make something happen, and they had penetration this time. Penetration kills. It'll just kill anything you do offensively.
Great pursuit by Jimmy Bradley, among others. And then the tandem tackle from Johnson and Torvinen. But a personal foul and a face mask going to be assessed against RS Central, and that's kind of been the story of the night when the Hilltoppers have been able to do something positive. The result has been anything but so far. You think about the long drive, the end result was the interception. You think about the defensive stop here as they finally corral Calvin Jones just a little bit, and a personal foul ends up moving the chains. But it has not dampened the spirits of the fans on the near side. Did you see the Hilltoppers faithful still having a good time?
They're still hoping something comes up. They know they just want to see the kids play a little bit harder, try to make something happen. That time they did make something happen, and it looked like they jerked the helmet off of one of the East Rutherford players downfield.
Whatever the case, it's going to put the football inside the 40-yard line. And here's another dose of Mooney, who is down to the 30. Ball is on the ground, and did RS Central come away with a turnover? Their indications are they have the football, but the officials appear to be spotting it at the 27. And they're going to say the ball carrier was down at the 27-yard line. It'll stay with East Rutherford, so the elusive break still does not come for RS Central. You're going to get another look at it right here as Mooney hurdles that first tackler, and there's the ball coming out right about the time his knee goes down. Boy, I'd love to see one more look at that maybe after this play if possible. That's a great look. Here's another look at it for you from a different angle. Watch where his knee is down, and when the ball comes out, popped out. Ooh, that's so close.
That's good camera.
It's great camera work and very, very close call, but on the field, they had the knee down, and now we get some more extracurricular activity at the 2.5-minute mark. That was well, let's say it one more time. Great camera work and a good look on what was a very close play, and the call ends up going East Rutherford's way.
It wouldn't have been enough to reverse it if it had been pros either, as far as being able to tell.
Pro, college, you have to have inconclusive evidence to turn it over. You are looking at this game, Kenny, from the booth as another personal foul, it would appear, is assessed on what took place after the play. Looking for this with the kind of look in your eyes like, boy, I've been here before.
Yeah, as far as
The intensity of this game. Yeah, the intensity of this game.
Yeah,
you've been on both sides of this.
Yeah, well, I would. One thing right now, I would be disappointed on RS side how maybe my kids are going at it, you know, as it picked up instead of answering the bell. You know, once you knock down, getting that gun, playing hard, play that same intensity. You know, all he's doing is right now he's by these penalties.
Yes,
it's just helping East Rutherford, keeping them geared up, and it's keeping the RS on their heels by doing these stupid things.
Into the Pardee red zone after the latest penalty, and that's the thing I think when you talk about any disappointment at all, it's not the effort that you're getting from RS Central. It's some of those self-inflicted wounds that have to be driving first-year head coach Brad Hutchins crazy right now. Those last two penalties are self-inflicted wounds that are extending and accelerating this particular drive for the East Rutherford crowd.
And some of this stuff that's happening, you know, the way it's looking right now that East Rutherford is in the control of this football game, then you start worrying about as chippy as this game is. If one of your players does get kicked out of the game for doing something foolish, doing extracurricular stuff, he's not going kicked out this game. He's kicked out 2 games. He's gone. You know, so you got to worry about something happening for the rest of the next 2 weeks.
Well, and this is not the time of year that you want to worry about things like that because you just started conference play tonight. These are the games that really matter. We remind you to stick around at the half when the last 2:30 of this second period expires. We will have the Away Scholar Athlete, a Mission Hospital interview, so much more, all part of the Asheville Chevy Show at the half. The question is, will East Rutherford be able to extend the lead? And you see how much fun they're having on the far side. Pretty good group traveling across the county. And they have had plenty to cheer about over there. The band is playing. They made the trip from the land of the Cavaliers as well. Second down coming for their football team. Up 33-0. And looking for more at the 2-minute mark first half.
You know, it started the game. Before the game, it was warming up. Now, even right when they started warming up, one went down and was walking, like I said, they'd like to do. And here comes their cheer, a whole bus. And I mean, kids are just jam-packed in this bus. And right down at RS sideline, it was a bunch of the students, their cheer students, and they were just chanting. It was nothing bad. They had cheers going on. It was out the window, and RS was trying to warm up. But it was neat.
Well, and why not? They've got plenty to cheer about, and perhaps more. As staying on his feet is Mooney, and he's digging for the end zone. No call just yet as they pile up on the goal line. And the officials trying to spot the football. Pull it out of there at around the 1-yard line. And it's going to be enough for a first down. First and goal coming for East Rutherford. And when we talk about plenty to cheer about, watch this run by Mooney. He's already rushed for a touchdown alongside Simmons, who's rushed for a touchdown, and Calvin Jones, who's rushed for a touchdown. In addition to that, they have a special teams touchdown. They have a defensive touchdown on a fumble recovered and carried into the end zone. And now they have a multiple rushing touchdown night for Demetrius Mooney, who with 90 seconds remaining in the half puts East Rutherford on the doorstep of a 40-point advantage.
Boy, those Sharks have really wanted more, and you could tell. And we were discussing RS. You can just see it and feel it, how the sides are going. And East Rutherford just seems to be going harder, and RS just seems to be going just through the motions, just even more.
Well, and now here's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against East Rutherford. It will not end up hurting them except for in relation to the PAT tries. You see the touchdown run by Mooney. Mooney now 12 touchdowns on the season. And this will affect the PAT, and that's about all here, Kenny, on a personal foul call against the Cavaliers. It is a night driven by high adrenaline between these two teams, rivals, bitter rivals, and both of them coming in wanting desperately to put this one in the win column, not only for the conference victory it would provide, but also for the bragging rights it can always give. Well, something happened. This is going to be from the normal PAT spot.
Well, they had a choice. They have a choice to do it on the.
So they're going to do it on the kick. Gotcha.
But the official did something I'd never seen. he did a wave over his head, not just kind of brought his hand over and pointed toward where they're kicking off from. I'd never seen that signal before. I guess that's something new there. But you do have that choice.
Look at that.
To take it half the distance, go or on a kick.
And they take it on the ensuing kickoff. Do you see that tandem, Simmons and Mooney, responsible for 3 of the 4 offensive touchdowns tonight, sitting there alongside one another on that far bench. This drive, 6 plays, 50 yards, just under 2 minutes. A 4-yard touchdown run by Mooney, and the extra point makes it 40-0. They are all smiles on that Cavaliers sideline.
You see their coach sitting there beside them there. It's good to sit and do some adjustments if they needed to, but I do not think the only adjustment they need is 2 footballs, because the problem is they only one of them get it at a time.
Talking, of course, about Simmons and Mooney. This is a dominant performance. I'll go back to it one more time. We talked about it a couple of times already, but the balanced nature of play from East Rutherford tonight. They have not turned the football over. Not only have they not turned the football over, they forced a couple of turnovers, turned those turnovers into touchdowns. Once on the ensuing drive, once on the fumble picked up and carried into the end zone, and then the special teams even getting involved, blocking a punt, turning that into a touchdown. I mean, we use the term a lot, complete effort, when we talk about some of these high school Thursday nights. This redefines a complete effort. In all 3 phases of the game, the Cavaliers have been dominant.
They really wanted this, and there's a lot of underlying things going on. We mentioned that head coach of RS the past 12 years, a winningest coach, had retired, and then
he's now on the other side.
Now he's on the other side as the offensive coordinator.
You just got the close proximity of these 2 schools, which has made this a rivalry over the years. You know, you heard the head coach.
He played at East.
Yes, you heard the head coach Clint Bland talking in the pregame even about how, you know, he's been in this rivalry for 21 years, over 2 decades, 9 as a head coach, and you know when you come into this place that it's going to be heightened awareness for both teams. Everything being initiated by East Rutherford so far in this one. And the beneficiary of the penalty yards, RS Central, will have a chance up near midfield with 1:23 to play, trying to erase what has been a shutout performance in this first half.
It is, and the head coach mentioned they wasn't just talking about winning; they want a shutout. And I know that's how Coach Russell is. It does the defense, and they do not just you mentioned it. They do not just want to win this football game.
And that wasn't just talked about in the locker room. I mean, it was put out there in the pregame for everyone to hear. So that speaks to what the defense has done here in the first half, that so far through nearly 1 half of action, East Rutherford getting just what they bargained for. And now a trip into the backfield to make the tackle by Cade Hamilton. He's there again. Hamilton was our player to watch coming in. Hamilton with 88 tackles prior to this game, 18 of them for loss. Couple of sacks on the year. You can add another one to each of those categories for Cade Hamilton. Good-looking player in that linebacking core for the Cavaliers.
I think he's been shaving since about the 5th grade.
That's one way to put it.
Right there. But he'll be playing on Saturdays, folks. He's already been, what I understand, Gardner Webb is very interested in this young man, and he's got a few other schools looking at him.
Well, and you see he's like not only a captain, but he's like the quarterback of that defense. He's turning, letting everybody know what their responsibilities are before the play. Then he zeroes in on the football, and here he comes again. His pursuit will result in yet another tackle for Cade Hamilton. So with the spotlight on him.
He was behind that play and ran that thing down.
Watch him. With the spotlight on him and one camera dedicated to him, he still chases down the ball carrier.
This is a gap control defense, and when they're in a 3-man front and you've got a man that weighs 360 pounds, they've got him controlling 2 gaps. Now that time he went to 1 gap. He took a side, and that's not his job. His job is to stand the center up and control both A gaps.
Well, this is Devin Littlejohn's job. Watch as he gets the football, comes right toward your living room. Littlejohn has at least going to put somewhat of a positive taste in the mouths of the home fans by providing a bit of hope with the way he closes down the first half on that run. But it is a first half that belongs completely to East Rutherford. 40-0 is the score, and a dominant first half of football for the visiting Cavaliers, looking for what would be their 5th win on the season and a 1-0 start to Western 2A. I mean, this is going to be something special here in Southwestern 2A if they can finish what they started. Let's get the thoughts of head coach Clint Bland, who is standing by with John. John?
Thanks, Jason. I'm here with Coach. Coach, you guys are up 40-0 so far. What are some things that you guys are going to capitalize going into the second half?
Well, great half of football. We got to keep our emotions in check. We got to stay calm. You know, getting a little heated out there in the rivalry game. You know, we just got to come out here the second half and play. Calm down. Let's play the game. Okay.
Speaking of emotions, you guys are very heavy-hearted in this game. It's obviously a rival game. Talk about some of the things that you guys are going to do going into it and capitalizing on the second half.
Well, you know, with a lead like this, we're going to run. It's obvious. We won't be throwing the ball in. We want this clock to run to get out of here with a win, be happy, and go home.
And talk about Demetrius Mooney. He's done a great job so far for this team. Talk about some of his impact in offense.
Yeah, Demetrius plays both sides of the ball well. You know, he always has big game for us. He's a stud. You know, it's no secret. They know who's getting the ball, and we keep feeding it to him. So, you know, hopefully he gets out of here healthy, and we move on to next week.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck to you in the second half.
Yes, sir.
Back to you, Jason.
Well, thank you so much, John. And you can see how pleased Clint Bland is. He knows there's a great deal of work left to do, but he has guys like Calvin Jones, Demetrius Mooney, Cameron Simmons on his side. And with the way his defense and special teams are playing to boot, got to feel good if you're on the East Rutherford side of things.
Westridge Auto.
Well, and we thank the folks at Asheville Ford for sponsoring our keys to the game. Third quarter underway. And an East Rutherford team that saw just about everything go their way in the first half will set the tone for the second offensively, as the touchback will bring Mr. Simmons and company back out there. Of course, we talked about Mooney, but Cameron Simmons, when he has needed to engineer drives and calm this team from the quarterback position, has done so well. A couple of defensive scores and a special teams play on which the defensive unit blocked a punt and carried it back in has not really required Cameron Simmons to be on the field that much. But when he's been out there turning and handing to the combo of Mooney and Jones, he's been solid.
Yeah, he has been, and I like him under center more. They found a little something a lot better. This is more of a true wing T look as far as that goes. They need to keep the hammer down coming out of here. And I'm sure that's what the coaches talked about.
Well, room up the sideline and tripped up at the 43-yard line is Demetrius Mooney. The question is, and obviously this one not over yet, Kenny, so you want to, you said it, keep the intensity up. Make sure you go ahead and put a team away when you have them on the ropes. But how long do you go with starters like Mooney and Simmons and Jones and kids like that out there, especially looking in terms of what is ahead for this team now that conference play has begun?
I would keep the same intensity as a coach right there, and don't let up. This is the game he's waiting on. Why let up now just because you're ahead? Let's take this football and let's take it down the football field, and let's score again.
Well, good job containing on the outside. The combo out there looks to be Marlon Francis working together with a couple of those linebackers. Francis, who disrupted on the outside, and then watch the help he gets out there as well, Kenny, as they end up sealing off any place for the ball carrier to go. Good job by the homestanding blue jerseys. There to help, among others, is Jimmy Bradley. Second down coming. Just a couple of yards gained.
Any penetration will kill whatever offense is running.
Simmons up to the line under center. And here is Mooney dancing through traffic again, and he's inside the 40 to the 34-yard line. Yeah, in no way am I alluding to the fact that Mooney should be out of the game right now. I'm just asking, if things stay the way they are, how long do you go with starters, knowing that a coach is always trying to balance the intensity versus the protection of your players?
Yeah, and that is tough. And boy, nothing else you hate is to lose a major person like Mooney right now. But a game like this, I always wanted to come out and at least go one full series, maybe two on each side of the football.
Then you take a look at it.
And then you start getting them out of there as quick as you can.
Well, here is Jones. He's going to be swallowed up right away. This RS Central defense coming out with some fire. Another job of containment on first down. And let's give credit to Clinton Deaton, who is in there to make the stop for the Hilltoppers.
We talked too, you're worried, and I'm sure he talked about this. Don't do anything, do not do anything stupid out there to where that will get you kicked out of the ball game. And then you're out the next two games, two conference games, big games. So
perhaps
keep a cool head,
yep.
Just play.
Perhaps one of the toughest things in a game like this is just to keep your head down. In a rivalry type situation where things have either really gone your way if you're East Rutherford, really not going your way if you're RS Central, because it really did snowball into well, the score we have now for RS Central. Those nights are the toughest nights to keep your composure.
And then there could be somebody like what could have that kid on RS sideline or on the side that says, okay, we're not going to win this game, but I'm going to get my shot in. I'm going to find some place to do it, and then that's when you get, you know, maybe somebody hurt in that aspect. So,
and that's a concern for Brad Hutchins, for his team to stay focused in that area, so he doesn't lose anybody, because the scoreboard, regardless of what happens here, and yes, there's still a half left for his team to try and battle back, but even if things stay the way they are here, the way they're trending with East Rutherford, RS Central has to reset for next week. They'll reset the scoreboard and go at another conference game come next Friday night.
And I would, as RS staff, again, the intensity of our kids and how hard we play is sure good chance that we're going to lose this ball game. Wouldn't probably come out and say that, but I said we're going to win this second half. I want to see you getting after it the way we talked about all week. What you're doing. Have some pride now about how you playing, or they're going to talk about this the rest of the year till we play again.
And here's the first down play. Outside is Jones. And Jones cuts back at the 15. See how this trip ends in the Pardee red zone for the East Rutherford Cavaliers. I think that's the point you make right there, Kenny, is an outstanding one for the viewers at home. A coach's perspective is always, let's win what's in front of us. Even when things have gone the way they have in the first half for RS Central, the idea is win the second half against East Rutherford. That's where the focus has to be. And then, you know, things bounce your way to some degree. You look and see where you are. Right now, they find themselves in the shadow of their own end zone once again with an East Rutherford team that has had its way offensively tonight, marching once more. There's a helmet. That's not the football. That's another helmet bouncing away on the far side. Football's in the grasp of Demetrius Mooney, but that's more than we can say for old 13's helmet. Mooney loses it, and now will retrieve it as he heads back to the sideline.
That's twice his helmet's come off.
Yeah, at least.
As far as this goes. I see, boy, they're just heavy.
Chase Harris was in there to make the tackle. And there's big Jarvis Lynch, who was rolling away as well.
80, ripping your head off.
Third down coming. 3rd and 1. A lot of options. It's going to be Jones. And he dances back inside and lunges across the marker. It's going to be a penalty marker flying in there. Appeared to be, at first glance, enough for the Westridge Auto Sales first down, but we'll see if the penalty affects that at the 7:35 mark, 3rd period.
You know, RS is playing harder. You can see it and feel it out there, and it's making it harder on East, to where when you do this, you suck it up, something good will happen. Is what I've always said. Once a team starts driving, and that's what East did earlier in the game when they got that interception in the end zone there when they were driving. And you never know in that momentum type thing, balls don't go on the ground. It would be a lot closer ball game.
You love the way RS has answered the bell from just an approach standpoint, from an intensity standpoint. And more flags before the play gets underway.
They're not doing anything fancy here. This is just the wing tee version of the power play. If you got in the I formation and run the isolation straight ahead in the A and B gap, and one time the halfback's leading here and the fullback's getting it, and then vice versa. They're just blocking for each other at different times. So Coach said he was going to work on the running game, and they're not doing anything fancy except for coming right here, and you stop us if you can.
So DeMarcus Jackson and company
toe-to-toe.
backed up in the shadow of their goal line. 1st and goal. And a struggle for every inch of real estate down to the 1.
Offensive linemen love that play right there. It's a wedge. You get toe-to-toe, you could put both teams in a phone booth.
Well, there you saw Cameron Simmons calling for the touchdown. He felt as if he had perhaps broken the plane. Ball's placed out on the 1. 2nd down and goal.
They'll do it again. Watch them get. Look how tight their splits are.
There's Chase Harris on your screen.
Tighter than a tick.
Chase Harris was on your screen defensively. They walk a couple of linebackers up to the line, trying to crowd the box. And still no indication of a touchdown as in the midst of that pile, crawling out of there.
And that's how you stop that. You do that. Defensive linemen get 4-point top stance, get low, and they submarine underneath those linemen's legs.
And watch it. It's DeMarcus Jackson who ends up crawling out of there. Well, just having to gather the football back up that time was Simmons. You saw him to the turf right away. Did a good job maintaining possession for East Rutherford. But it was player we highlighted in the open, DeMarcus Johnson, among others, who came roaring out of the pile. And speaking of roaring, Calvin Johnson rushes across the right side, roars right on in to the end zone a second time. Had a 70-yard touchdown run earlier. Has a touchdown run of much less in the stat book, but just as important on the scoreboard as he puts his team up 46-0.
Yeah, RS couldn't stop everything, but they were going to take away that sneak, and they had everything packed inside and then just block down and kick out. That's all you do right here. Boom.
Calvin Jones, sophomore, 5'9", 160. Mentioned he plays some quarterback, plays some running back, plays some defensive back, and he's back in the end zone. Extra point, good. 47-0 is the lead as East Rutherford picks up right where they left off on the initial drive of the second half, which ends in a Calvin Jones touchdown.
Sportsmanship. It means a lot of things.
It means showing respect for the opposing team
And being a good host for our visitors.
It's about modeling good behavior and not getting caught up in the emotion of the moment.
It's about winning with humility.
Losing with dignity.
It is about making my high school games.
It's a good memory that I can enjoy for years to come.
Mr. Official.
Mom.
Dad, son,
Daughter. Coach.
Are we in this together?
Sportsmanship. Together we make the right call.
This message has been brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association.
Carolina Furniture Concepts is offering employee pricing to everyone during our employee pricing sales event. You pay what our employees pay. This is the time to save thousands. Recliners just $199. Sofas $299. Queen beds $199. Queen mattress sets just $299. Shoplift chairs just $599. You pay what our employees pay. Save thousands this week only at Carolina Furniture Concepts.
What's more fun than gathering with friends for the big game? Adding in a big bow box from Bojangles. Hand-breaded, bone-in chicken, their Cajun pintos, dirty rice, mac and cheese. Think how big a hit you'll be at your tailgate party. Their legendary iced tea is included. How about dessert? Football-shaped Bowberry biscuits are yours as well. When it's game time, it's bow time.
12 plays, 80 yards, 6 minutes, 4 seconds later. And think about that, eating up the majority of the third period game clock. A 1-yard touchdown run from Calvin Jones caps an extended East Rutherford drive. And though we saw plenty of fight back from RS Central, kind of takes a little bit more of the life away from the Hilltoppers, as with 5:56 to go in the third period, it is now a 47-0 Cavaliers lead. RS Central, Kenny talked about winning the half, also trying to obviously take that 0 off the scoreboard, and the offense will get a chance to do that again right now. This is the first touch offensively for RS Central, and a good recovery after initial brief muff of the kick return. Brings the football up near the 20-yard line as we check in with John Williams. John?
Thanks, Jason. And on behalf of My 40 and Thursday Night Lights, we would like to thank RS Central for having us here on this beautiful campus tonight. We'd like to present this check for $500 to their athletic department and wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Jason.
Well, certainly there stands the outstanding principal, Phil Rogers, and we talked about how he, Sam Hooper, their staffs have taken good care of us here. And we appreciate that, as is the case everywhere we go around Western North Carolina, the way we are being welcomed onto these campuses. And we learned one thing right away, Kenny, and that's the folks here in Rutherford County, whichever sideline they're on in this one, very friendly and among the cream of the crop here in the Tar Heel State when it comes to the treatment you receive.
They did a good job with us tonight. The athletic director was ready to go, Sam Hooper. When we first got out the press box, this is one of the nicest ones we've been in. We got air conditioning, and they had everything we needed once we got here.
Provided our own turf, a good angle of the football field from a viewing standpoint, and keeping us well hydrated among everything else. We say thanks, and our entire crew well fed by Mi Pueblito earlier today. The local restaurants. I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, we were told the head soccer coach is also the owner or has some connection and ownership to Mi Pueblito. You see them on the scoreboard there, and they certainly took care of feeding us some nice Mexican food before getting rolling into this one tonight. And we say thanks to those folks as well as everybody who made it possible for us to be here and made our stay enjoyable so far. And speaking of soccer, that's another area of pride here. Soccer state champions previously. Of course, everybody familiar with the outstanding ROTC program here at RS Central. A number of things for this crowd to be proud of, and they'll be back on other nights from a football standpoint. Kenny, this one obviously not going their way on the scoreboard, but Southwestern Conference play still out front of them in 2A, and much to build on. You got to remember it's a first-year head coach here, and Brad Hutchins, and that's one thing we haven't really talked a lot about tonight, but in some ways these two teams traded systems, traded schemes offensively along the way. This is a power rushing type team. You talk about the wing T. Now that more on the other sideline where RS Central has decided to start spreading things out. When you change systems, it takes some time to get it instilled.
It does, and it's still a version of it, but it is different. So you've got the offense coordinator for East Rutherford that was the head coach here, and he just brought it over, and it looks like it fits these kids.
Yeah, it fits the playmakers on that East Rutherford side very well. Speaking of East Rutherford, our defensive play of the game comes from the Cavaliers. It's the interception in the end zone. The timing of this was critical. Would have made it a 14-7 game had RS Central ended up with a touchdown here. Instead, the Cavaliers rolled from there. That is our defensive play of the game. And, of course, that was a pick by Jordan Harris.
I don't know if Hunter Bradley has the arm to go deep, because if nothing else, I've been sometimes even in the middle of the field, just tried TJ, I don't know, maybe a stop pattern or something out there, but I do not think he's got the arm strength to really heave it down the field far enough to make him honest there in the secondary.
Hasn't been tested in that department tonight as far as whether that's available, as they've certainly rushed the football along the way more proficiently here tonight. Let's take a look at what's coming up for us, Kenny. The schedule ahead on Bojangles Thursday Night Lights will be at North Henderson, Polk County, in that traditional rivalry that we seem to get each and every year now, Mitchell and Polk County, and then Hendersonville and East Henderson. So we talked about a rivalry game tonight. We've got 3 more of them before we're done.
We're doing it all conference games from here on out when we get in there.
Playoff implications. Join us at North Henderson on the 12th, at Polk County on the 19th, and then after a week off, we'll be at East Henderson to close out the schedule with that battle against Hendersonville. Tonight, it is the Battle of Rutherford County, and East Rutherford has rolled in to the place affectionately known as the Palace here on the campus of RS Central and had their way tonight. And now we see some new faces. We talked about working some new faces in there. Here's a freshman, T.J. Watkins, who gets the carry across the far side.
He's going to be something special. You're not going to bring up a freshman and play him in this football game. Bring him up unless he's going to play and do some different things. So he's a name to be just to hang on to. I don't know if I'm sure this is the Palace. It makes it sound, I don't know, just didn't know it's nice and everything.
Very nice.
I don't know. I'm trying to think what made it called the Palace. I'm trying to.
You don't have the backstory on that one off the top of your head?
I want to find out, what. It must be a reason.
Well, and also, you have we saw the nice sign out front that mentions it as the Palace. We talked about the great soccer history here, state championships as well, and their home locale right here is a part of the Palace. And it has been, when you look at that side of things, where champions play along the way. And we thank the fine folks from here at the Palace taking good care of us tonight.
The more you say it, the more it just kind of
fits. Central just kind of sinks in there.
Yeah,
it takes a minute to sink in.
I have never heard one there, so it is unique. Now, I like the grass. I like these. I know we got turf fields and stuff, but the Bermuda grass, and you talk about a year of growing Bermuda, with it being hot, and besides the past 20-some days, it's rained most of summer. But
natural grass always close to your heart, I know. Let's take a look at our offensive play of the game. And a number of them to choose from. Here comes the 70-yard breakaway run for Calvin Jones. One of 2 touchdowns on the night for Jones, and he's high-stepping it and accelerating it as he goes 70 yards with our offensive play of the game. And there's Calvin Jones.
I liked how he handed that ball. He just kept going, handed it to the ball boy there at the end, and that was kind of cool. I watched him when he did that then. I kept watching him, trying to see where he was going. I didn't know if he's going on the bus or what then.
2 touchdowns for Jones, 2 rushing touchdowns for Mooney, a touchdown, rushing touchdowns for Simmons. I mean, those are the offensive touchdowns. A block punt for the touchdown, a fumble recovered for a touchdown. It was after a fumble that the second touchdown was secured, the first Mooney run. You really look back at this football game, and everybody you would expect to be involved, we've called on the defensive side. Cade Hamilton's name over and over again, as well as Mooney's, as well as Julian Whiteside's Hamilton, as well as Josh Wilson, who came in with 40-plus tackles. We've called all their names time and again, and it certainly has been a team effort for this East Rutherford crew. As you see, they continue to tend to the injured player at the middle of the field. That's Garrett Paget, who, as you said, every indication they are working with Paget, who's battling through cramps at around the 44-yard line.
And you see, if you've ever had one, it's awful. But you see how the trainer is pushing up on his toes. You got to get that leg straight, and then you bring your toes back. You arc your foot back, and you feel like it's not a natural thing to do. But if somebody's there, you push the toes back. So if it ever happens to you by yourself, keep that leg straight and just bring your toes back toward your body. You would think, gosh, it's going to go right into the cramp, but no, it relieves it. You just got to suck it up there for a few seconds to get it there.
The wealth of knowledge from grass types to how to deal with cramps, it's all coming from Kenny Ford for you tonight. Let's check in with the East Rutherford principal. He's standing by with John Williams.
Thanks, Jason. I'm here with Principal Torvinen of East Rutherford High School. Principal Torvinen, tell us, what are some of the accomplishments that you're most proud of at East Rutherford High School?
I just feel like at the high school we're able to offer a wide variety of curriculum areas that our students can take, from the CTU area where we can work in different areas of skilled trades that they can go work, to preparing them for college and actually offering college classes while they're still in high school. That's a major accomplishment for East Rutherford, as well as Rutherford County schools, because we do it at all 3 high schools.
Great program. Tell us, there's a sense of pride and tradition that comes along when you walk on the campuses, and that comes with being at East Rutherford Cavalier. Talk about that pride and tradition that your student body your faculty, your staff, they all carry with them. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, one thing I've experienced in my short time at East Rutherford is that when we have a little song that they say, it's great to be a Cavalier, that is evident from the alumni, it's evident in the students as well as the teachers, because our teachers are a lot of alumni that's come through the East Rutherford, and they're just proud to be there. They want to be there, and it reflects in our kids, because it's something I see going over generation after generation.
There you go. That is Principal Torvinen of East Rutherford High School. Jason, back to you.
Also has to be pleased with the way the football team that represents his high school has played tonight through 3 quarters. They have not allowed a point to their rival RS Central. And as we head into the 4th and final period of action, it is the East Rutherford Cavaliers behind a strong rushing night from Calvin Jones, Demetrius Mooney, and Cameron Simmons way out front.
The #1 volume Chevy dealer in Western North Carolina.
Come in the door. They will come back and see us. They remember who gave them the best customer service.
Simple, friendly, family. Taylor Ford, Waynesville.
Life is busy. That's why Emery Electric is here to help you with your honey-do list.
Install new ceiling fan? Check. Wire the family room? Check. Home generator? Check.
Emery Electric, we've got your honey-do list covered. Call us today.
No matter the sport, Bojangles is your tailgate authority with perfectly seasoned chicken and the best fixins in town. You'll be the hit of your tailgate. And if the opposing team tailgaters don't know Bo's the best in town, be neighborly. Decide to share. Bojangles, it's Bo time.
Start of the 4th period. It will begin with a 3rd down and 7 for East Rutherford. In some ways fitting that the Cavaliers have the football in their hands. It has been the night of the East Rutherford Cavaliers. And this play is blown up right away. A little bit of a low snap, and able to get in there and take advantage is Clinton Dayton, the freshman linebacker who's bouncing around a little bit after making the stop there, Kenny. Brings up 4th down, and this is one of the few times tonight, if memory serves, it is the only time tonight that we have seen Austin Roderick come out to kick it away, as East Rutherford will be forced to punt the football. And I think you just said it as well, that it is the only time tonight. So if you think it and I think it, we're going to take it as confirmed that that this is the only punt of the night. And it's going to roll out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Well, if you only get one shot to do it, Austin Roderick, why not do it right?
That's I said I'd like to see him punt sometime tonight, and he's a good kicker. They were bragging on him, and that also makes it good for the defense. You got a good punter like that. They can place it. So that didn't just happen. He's been working on that quite a bit.
I'll ask you this, Kenny. Is there any area in which East Rutherford has not just been everything that the coaching staff wanted them to be tonight? The fans are certainly enjoying on the far side, but you talk about a special teams touchdown. You look at that punt, the defensive pressure they were able to get early. They cashed in on a turnover in the early stages of this game. On the ground, they've had 3 different ball carriers score a combo of 5 touchdowns. This is as complete an effort as we've seen on a Thursday night.
And RS Central right now is going, is there anything else go wrong? Which it could happen right now.
Ball snapped in their own end zone. And boy, you give all kind of credit to the ball carrier for just getting it out of there. Quarterback keeper for Hunter Bradley, who's had his moments tonight, stepping in for Jaden Waddell. Bradley, the senior, has a couple of big conversions on 3rd down earlier in the game, and here secures a little bit of breathing room for he and his teammates out of the end zone, now out across the 5-yard line to the 6.
Well, I know we're talking about the Waddell. He's accounted for 1,000 yards total of offense of running and passing the football.
Can't take that away without some impact being felt.
But I do not think it would have made a difference tonight.
With the way East Rutherford has played, at least the scoreboard, a good indication of the fact that once the visitors from across the county got out front, they have stayed there. 1st down, as a change will move once more. That is Taylor Ford 1st down, and it allows us to check in with John Williams. John?
Thanks, Jason. We are here with Monica Lee of the McNair Foundation. Monica, you are the executive director of the McNair Foundation. Talk a little bit about it and what it is and how it began.
Okay. Robert McNair, who is the current owner of the Houston Texans, actually grew up in Rutherford County. And when he became successful after he graduated from college, he wanted to give back to his community and started this foundation in 1989. He wanted to help students in Rutherford County pursue post-secondary education to go to college after high school. So the foundation's been here for almost 30 years. We've been in one high school for 25 of those years and then expanded to the other 2 high schools in Rutherford County. And so now we're in all 3 high schools in Rutherford County schools and work with the middle schools and elementary schools as well.
That is great. Now talk about the impact it must make on these kids in this area.
Yes, we work with all of our students to help them get ready for whatever they want to do after high school. We have mentors in our community that work with our students, so we have about 200 mentors from our community that work with all of our students. So every student in our middle school and high school has an adult mentor who works with them and helps them prepare for college. We have a higher enrollment rate than most schools in the nation for rural, low-income students, and so our enrollment rate's about 10% higher than those nationally. And we also have scholarships for our students, so if they do the things they need to do in high school to get ready for college, then they can earn a scholarship for their first year of school.
Well, that is great. Now, where are you guys located?
We have offices in all 3 of the high schools, so students and parents can find us in any of the high schools if they need to talk to us or need to get assistance from us.
Well, there you go. That is Monica Lee of the McNair Foundation. Be sure to check them out.
Thanks so much, John. This time another keeper for Hunter Bradley. We saw just a moment ago there, Kenny, DeMarcus Johnson carrying the football. Known for what he does defensively, 35 solo tackles, 102 assists a year ago for 137 total tackles. He's halfway there already in 2017 with 33 solo and 41 assists for 74 tackles coming in. We saw him in the backfield a moment ago as well. Look at him. Ty.J. Cooks, who we talked about, 12 receptions, 142 yards, couple of touchdowns coming in. They just have not been able to work the ball into the hands of those playmakers consistently enough to sustain drives tonight, Kenny.
It's been mainly because of East. And like you mentioned, we were talking about only 4 first downs all night long for them. That's, and I know that tickles Coach Russell to death.
Fair caught at the 48-yard line, and we'll take a break with 6:13 left to play in the 4th and final period. It's been all East Rutherford tonight. Sense of belonging, security, and community, or D, all of the above? Do a little bit of softball question there for you. We'll answer it on the other side of the break, or other side of this play, I should say, as we go back to work after a change of possession, 5:10 remaining. And yes, it was over 6 minutes before we departed, a running clock tonight. So until we ran up against the TV timeout, another minute or so ran on off that clock. And that'll be the case even in change of possessions now, Kenny. Even in normal stop clock situations, the clock will continue to roll because of the point differential at 47-0. So for those of you at home that saw us leave with 1 time on the clock and come back with another, that running clock is the reason for that. And held in bound, which is good habits to form for East Rutherford, even though it will be of little consequence based on what we were just talking about. It is a positive gain, and 2nd down is coming. Now time to answer that Park Ridge Health trivia question. And the answer, as you might have expected, D, all of the above. Personal relationships lower the risk of heart disease, boost immunity, and provide a sense of belonging, security, and community. We all need one another, and we invite you to strengthen those interpersonal relationships courtesy of Park Ridge Health. 2nd down, and I'm going to call it 3 yards to go. So 2nd down and 3 from the 42-yard line. Clock now under 4 minutes to play.
A lot of new bodies out there on the field right now. And they're going to hold this ball to the last second to snap it on the running clock, on the play clock there, 25-second clock. And you've got a lineman running the ball right now.
Yeah, give it to the bruiser as he goes up the left side.
His dream.
Lawson Jolly, I believe, who gets a chance to, check that. That's Malcolm Littlejohn who gets a chance to carry the football.
It's usually a senior, too.
Senior, 5'9", 200 pounds. He's listed as both a linebacker and a running back. But as you mentioned, his size the size of a number of those we've seen on the defensive line along the way. Malcolm Littlejohn gets his name called as he goes over the left side, and he moved the chains, picked up a first down. That's the story he's going with when he gets home tonight. Hey, I had a first down run in the contest tonight with 3:07 to play.
Running back all through midget Mike, I guarantee it. That's how it usually goes. I always had a few of them that, well, Coach, I was a running back when I was in the midgets. And I was like, well, you're a lineman now, son.
2:50 left to play. Clock continuing to wind on down, and still 11 seconds left on the play clock. As you might expect, East Rutherford using every bit of it ahead of this first down play. Another Taylor Ford first down here in the latter stages of what has been a dominant performance for East Rutherford tonight. And RS Central saying they're coming out of there with the football. The officials are going to take it away from them and spot it right back where the Progress had it. And that's kind of been the story of the night for RS Central all the way around. Let's check in with John Williams, who is going to give us a little more information on one of our scholar athletes. John?
Thanks, Jason. We are here with our scholar athlete mentor, Andrew Dorsey. Andrew is the mentor of our Scholar Athlete of the Week, Evan Revis of RS Central High School. Andrew, tell us, how do you know Evan?
I've coached Evan for the last 4 years in cross country and track, and it's been a joy to coach.
Well, tell us a little bit about him character-wise.
Character-wise, he's a great young man. He's a team leader out on the track and on the courses. I couldn't ask for more from him.
Tell us, where do you see him in the next 5 years?
Hopefully in the next 5 years, maybe he's working on his master's degree in computer science, and hopefully he's still running 5Ks and training just for fun.
There you go, our scholar athlete mentor, Andrew Dorsey. Jason, back to you.
Thanks, John. It's always nice to learn a little more about each of these scholar athletes along the way. Third down coming. Some numbers on the combo of Mooney and Jones, as it seems their nights are done. 14 carries, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns for Mooney. 7 carries, 93 yards, a pair of touchdowns for Jones. Simmons also, the quarterback, had a touchdown. He's still out there engineering what is likely to turn into the victory formation if this third down is picked up here for East Rutherford. But that's a pretty good night for a combo of backs who, between the two of them, are good for nearly 250 yards and 4 TDs.
Mooney's a good, hard downhill runner and plays good defense also. So there's a lot of juniors. I believe Coach Russell told me he's got 9 of his defense, 9 of them coming back. And so and then one of his main ones who have to replace is number 44, Cade Hamilton, the man in the middle that runs it.
The clock running right on through this call. It was offsides against RS Central. That's going to take what was 3rd and long, turned it into more of a 3rd and short, and the clock may run out thanks to the reset of the play clock before another play is required, and it will. Handshakes all around. That's what you always like to see at the end of a rivalry game like this. It goes to East Rutherford. A dominant win by the Cavaliers in every aspect. There's special teams involved. Offensively, the rushing attack, the numbers we just gave you, very impressive for Clint Bland and company. And as he moves to the middle of the field to shake hands with first-year Hilltoppers head coach Brad Hutchins, he goes to the locker room with confidence tonight. His team gets the shutout he requested in the pregame. 47-0 the final.
East Rutherford is more than a school. It's a community where students come together to participate in over 17 clubs and sports, and volunteer in service events that have local and global.
Stay at Rooms to Go, the perfect opportunity to get beautiful Rooms to Go furniture. Big savings and finance interest-free for 60 months with no minimum purchase. That's 5 years from now. Buy whatever you want. Living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, whatever, and pay no interest. No games, no gimmicks. So hurry to Rooms to Go. Save big and get 60 months to finance interest-free. That's now through Monday, Columbus Day, only at Rooms to Go.
47-0. They still have smiles on their faces, those who made the trip over from the land of the Cavaliers. East Rutherford County battle. Here's a look back at the highlights. Started with Calvin Jones. He goes 70 for a touchdown tonight, which you'll see. That was one of his early runs. And It was a number of different players. Jordan Harris, who had an interception in the game. Cameron Simmons, who was solid at the quarterback position. I mean, the playmakers were all around on all sides of the ball, Kenny.
I was very impressed with the penetration up front by the Cavalier defense. And then Mr. Mooney, he's one of the best running backs we've seen so far this year.
Mooney with a couple of touchdowns. Jones with a couple of touchdowns. There's the interception by Jordan Harris. Here is the 70-yard breakaway touchdown run from Calvin Jones.
That's where he's looking at his steps. We talked about that as far as he totes that football. I like the way he hands it to the ball boy at the end.
Special teams getting involved. Here's a block punt that ends up covered up in the end zone by Michael Mull, a senior, and just another evidence as here's a fumble that's picked up, returned for a touchdown by Correas, of just how good this team was in every area.
You felt it. I felt like that they were going to win the football game. I could see it in their eyes. They were just at the start. I felt both sides, and East just had just more in them.
Cade Hamilton, as advertised defensively, you saw him getting after it. Here's some of the looks from the second half. Second of a couple of touchdowns for Demetrius Mooney. You talk about Jones 2 touchdowns, Simmons a touchdown on the ground as he battled for it here. And there's the second TD by Jones. Just a 250-yard rushing night between those two. It ends in a handshake and an East Rutherford 47-0 final. An impressive night in this rivalry game for the East Rutherford Cavaliers. There will be a trophy presentation on the other side of the break. The Clint Brand and his staff will have it for you in just a moment.
Life is busy. That's why Emory Electric is here to help you with your honey-do list.
Electrical field? Looking to learn and work with an integrity-based family-owned business? Emory Electric has opportunities today. More than a job, light up your career with Emory Electric. Apply now at EmoryElectric.com.
Well, it's a happy bunch of Cavaliers down on the field, young and old. 47-0 the final, and a dominant East Rutherford win. Somewhere in the midst of that crazy crowd is Clint Bland, head coach of the Cavaliers. And it's time for John Williams to present the trophy to he and his troops. John?
Thanks, Jason. I'm here with Coach Bland now. Coach Bland, very impressive win tonight. Talk about your execution on all three phases of the game tonight.
Yeah, I think offensively, defensively, special teams, all three facets of the game. Everybody had a great game, tremendous game. Scored on all three of them, I believe, did we not? The defense, offense, and special teams. Tremendous week of practice, prepared well. Good things happen to good people.
Now you guys have a big week coming up next week, conference game against South Point. Talk about the preparation that you guys are going to do to get ready for that game.
Right, treat it like any other week. This is our first conference game tonight. Got to win. Got to move on. Told these guys, if you want to win the conference, you got to win the first one. Here's the first one, so move on to week 2. South Point's a tough team on the road. We can play on the road. We can win on the road like we did tonight.
Well, this was a statement game, and this was a rivalry. Talk about the rivalry between these two teams and how you guys went into this game going forward.
Yeah, I tell these guys, I played back in the late 80s, and I've been part of this rivalry for about 30 years now, and it gets better every year. When you win this thing, and you got a lot of school pride and community pride, and we're going to party at school tomorrow. We're going to have a good day. We're going to take a day off of practice, get back at it Monday, and get ready for South Point.
Definitely a lot to celebrate on. And on behalf of My 40 and Thursday Night Lights, we'd like to give you this trophy that presents the win for tonight's rivalry.
Well, they celebrate with a little bit of hardware to take back home. East Rutherford, a winner. Kenny, you saw the smiles, you saw the excitement on their faces, something special. Your final thoughts on this one?
Complete domination, and there's a bunch of people in red helmets that wanted a lot more than the team in blue.
Cavaliers end up a winner in shutout fashion, 1-0 in conference action, 5-2 overall for the Cavaliers of East Rutherford. Congratulations.